On the show, I'm always in drag. Yes.
I want to see.
No, I'm not. I'm
Um,
like I'm. Don't be trying to expose me. No, I'm not. I'm in boy drag right now. How about that?
uh, all born naked, restless drag. I feel you.
Yes, baby.
Okay, so my name is Avery. Yours.
And I'm Reverend Dr. Juanita Bind'Em.
I love that drag name. Okay, so my name is Avery. Yours.
And I'm Reverend Dr. Juanita Bind'Em.
I love that drag name.
Yes,
It
I'm
always
Dr.
reminds me of
Juanita.
that. It always reminds me of that like meme slash album cover where she's sitting in his in his Lord split me open, which is so
Oh, that's
bad.
literally Lord Split Me
But
Open is like my daily mantra. Um, so welcome everybody to Giraffe from the Left, a weekly digital series where we dish all things RuPaul's Drag Race from a black, queer, radical, leftist, abolitionist, feminist lens. So, if you're not with that type of shit, maybe not listen to this, but maybe you
might
actually
not be
should
the
because
program for you. Yeah.
but maybe you should. We gonna call you in before we call you out, but y'all hear about that a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll hear about that a little bit later. So let's get into this first episode
Yeah,
of
like honestly,
season. Go ahead.
before we even like do like the whole episode, like what about the world of drag before it even happened? Like it's literally a pandemic right now. It's a full on panorama outside.
It's a full on paragraph. And here's
Yeah.
RuPaul's Drag Race. I saw a tweet by Jen that was like, y'all should be thankful that these queens came out in a pandemic to entertain you. I was like, first of all, they should probably be at, like, we're grateful for the show, but they should probably be at home, like everybody else. Um, but yeah, the state of the world is crazy, but that did not stop the Drag Race franchise from giving us a season 13 and
Tis
reportedly
true.
a season All Star 6.
Well,
Um,
we about to be in full a world full of drag. Like we are right now in the thick of RuPaul's Drag Race season 13. UK season 2 starts in just 2 weeks, or even like maybe even not even two, maybe 10 days. I thought it premiered on the 13th. Don't quote me on that, but it's one of the teen numbers. And then
mhm.
All Stars 5 has been recorded. I mean, All Stars 6 has been recorded. Like, I keep saying
Has
All
it?
Stars 5 because we should only be on All Stars 5. There's been too many All Star seasons. That last season was crap besides Shea Coulee winning. And, like, period. Like, I just,
Yeah, and I also feel like it came around super quickly. Like maybe this is like just normal schedule, but I feel like Jada and Shay just won. I feel like their reign shouldn't be over just yet, but I
yeah,
just
they
think
have a
that's because of
record.
the pandemic and times fucked up and you really don't have no concept of that anymore. Um,
Yeah, there's a
but yeah, I feel
record.
like they
If
just
Jada, if the season goes only 13 episodes, Jada will probably have the shortest reign of any queen to win the show.
damn racism.
Well, speaking of it, like God Mick said in an interview that they were getting tested for COVID 4 times a week. So that's 13 girls
Mm,
tested 14 times a week. And plus, like they don't get there the day that they go on that first day, I'm sure. Plus
hmm.
all the staff, you know what I'm saying? Like talk about hoarding resources. Way to watch capitalism work. All in the
I
name
know,
of
right?
escapism, I guess, or art. I don't know. Like for me, RuPaul's Drag Race is one of the first shows to go back to recording in Hollywood, like new seasons during the panorama.
Hmm.
And like I just something just doesn't sit right in my soul. No matter how much I love to see the girls dip and twirl and serve these looks, just about how these structures really like. I tried to get a COVID test a few weeks ago, and it was very very difficult to do. Let
Hmm.
alone, you know what I'm saying? I live in Cleveland. You live in Cleveland, like the one of the largest cities in the country, with two of the top ranked hospitals in the world here, like around the corner, and I'm having trouble getting access to testing. But these people can get a Q-tip stuck up their nose 4 times a week. Like, imagine the luxury of being able to complain about access to healthcare.
Yeah. That's real. But let's put a pin in that because we're going to save that for our next segment, which is all about capitalism, pay inequity, all that good stuff. But let's review the episode first. You down for
Okay,
that?
so yeah, so first in the motherfucking workroom from the jump, we have Miss Candy Muse,
Yes, yes. And then right after, Joey J.
Joey J. So let's just do this first little group of them together. What are we
Should,
thinking? What are we?
should we take it queen by queen, or should we take it lip sync performance by lip sync performance?
Let's just do lip sync group by lip sync group. Like, let's just
Okay.
like, how do we feel about this?
Okay. So Candy and Joey lip sync to "Call Me Maybe." Candy wins. Do we agree?
Hands down, point blank, period. Stick the pin right in the fucking eye. Um, Candy
Yeah,
rocked the floor
Candy
with the
served
rag she had on.
from the look to the prop that she used, um, just to kind of like embodying the song and really working that stage. Like she ate. Um, Candy came in prepared. Like from what we know about the show, none of the girls knew that they would have to lip sync as soon as they got there, and she was
Right,
there
allegedly.
first. And like some of them were shook, but like I rewatched the episode and like once they figure out that they're actually lip syncing, they were shook. But Candy was like, she was shook a little bit, but she was like, okay, well if we lip syncing, I'm ready. And she
What
went
is
out there and did
clucking
what she had
and
to do.
bucking? Let's talk. What is this chicken head talk about clucking and bucking? It sounds sexual to me.
It does sound like vaguely dirty.
Like
Yeah, I have
clucking
no
and
idea what she
bucking.
means by that. Maybe she just made that up because she realized she was getting clowned for her chicken feathers. So she thought she had to like
Uh,
put a spin on it, and maybe that was that.
Candy's
Um,
like, not even a marabou coat. I'm like, girl, I'm weak.
the thing about Candy is, and like I don't know much about her, any of these queens, but off of first impression, she's one of those people who is very who expresses everything through their face. Like she doesn't have to like say a word, but the way she was looking at Joey was just like, now you know. But verbally, she was trying to be polite, but her whole face was just shade, shade, shade. Um,
Yeah, it is
so
definitely
Candy
giving
not
reasonable.
yes, she's not. I was just going to say that not only is she going to be like great competition for the show, but she's definitely going to be entertaining. I feel like it's going to
She's
be
in
her and
my top
Simone that kind of
four.
narrate the season. Same. We're going to get to top four predictions in a minute.
Yeah, she's
So
definitely
Candy
mine.
wins. Joey is sent to the pork chop loading dock.
Yes,
And she really
pork
has no
chop.
idea besides what's going on, besides that she lost. And she thinks she's going home. Cameras cut the next two girls. Who's
All
next?
right. Now look, Miss Denali.
You
Okay,
know how I
Miss
feel about
Denali.
it.
Well, let's talk about it. Like the I think we could talk about like all of our shit besides what your call in and call out of the week. Like I have my call in call out this week, and you can have yours, your one moment, and then we could just really just read the bitches all the way through, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and like, ain't nobody on here to be unnecessarily shady or just outright mean, because that's what a lot of the Drag Race podcast reviews,
Oh
whatever you
no
want to
no
call
no
them,
no no,
that's what
that's
they
not that.
give. Um, and coming from a leftist perspective, everybody thinks that people with leftist politics are just mean all the time and like
Are we
calling things out
really?
for no reason. But really, an essential element, like a core essential element to leftist politics, is a politic of care and the practice of like love and community. So no one's here to be unnecessarily shady or just outright mean. But I have my feelings.
Look, when I
Um,
watched the Meet the Queens thing with on the exchange rate the other day with Money Exchange, the Queen said if you see something, call it out, call it out, call it out. So I'm gonna see something, I'm gonna call it out. Now, Miss Denali walk in the room looking like our very, cute figure skater, bold to come in on those skates. I don't know if that like fuck up your skates, cause like how when you play football, like you're not supposed to walk on concrete in your
mm,
cleats. Like
true,
I don't
true.
know if she's risking the integrity of her figure skates. I don't know how much a good pair of figure skates cost, if they custom
Probably a lot of
or
money.
whatever, because the bitch
Hmm.
does it. Now, she put out a video yesterday of her doing solo to When I Grow Up on ice. And this
Hmm.
bitch can turn a party. Now I don't follow. I went online and I have been watching videos of Denali perform. Like she only been doing drag for a short while, right? She one of those queens who like came out the bat she probably was working from home in her bay, like figuring out what her aesthetic was before she even told anybody she was doing drag. So when she stepped on the
Hmm.
scene, she was doing what she was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, I believe she is Latinx, right?
Is she?
I think so.
She looks lily white. I mean, you can be lily white in Latinx, but I didn't see it.
I
Um,
mean, it's true.
but
I mean, that's not a lie. That is, truth altogether.
yeah, but some people they're like, I'm Latinx, so I'm not white. I'm like, that's not how race, ethnicity, nationality works.
Yeah, her
And that's
name is
why a lot of
Cordero.
her name is
Her
what? Her real
boyfriend
name?
is her real name is Cordero Zuckerman. So I feel like we got some biracial and some mixture going on in
Zuckerman,
here.
white.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah,
Um,
Zuckerman.
but we had a
Yeah,
conversation. We
she is
watched Drag Race
fluent. No, no, no,
together.
no, no, no. She is
Uh-huh.
Mexican and Jewish. Mexican and Jewish.
Okay,
You think she say nigga?
definitely.
I don't
Definitely.
know.
I would hope
I
not, of
hope
course.
not. I
Um,
hope not.
so we had this conversation. You were at my house on Friday when,
With our mask on, we had our mask on, and we were 6
yeah,
feet apart.
safely, of course, safely, when we watched Drag Race together. And I said it then. I had, the ancestors say go with your first mind, right? That's what the old folks say. So my first mind tells me something ain't right about Janelle in terms of like her orient to politics and race specifically. Um,
Okay.
Usually when that's when there's that thick of a black scent on a white queen, it's usually something to watch out for. And I peeped that during her Meet the Queens thing. She was the first one up. I remember she was the first one up, and it was just very like trying to imitate what you believe. It gave very much like I have an inner black woman, white gay. Um, so my eyebrows were raised from the first time I was introduced to her. And then she walked in and she was automatically shitting. Well, Lala Ree walks in, she's automatically shitting on the black girl. So I'm like, okay,
Whoa,
yeah,
whoa, whoa, whoa!
I'm gonna keep my
And
eye
those
on
be the
her.
moments. Those be the
It's,
moments. Like the first thing you want to do to your sister, and it always be the black one. Like yo, straight to the read, right? Straight to the motherfucking
mm-hmm.
read.
Nope, it's no
She
greeting.
performs to
It's
a lot
no.
of. She performs to a lot of music, like Nicki Minaj. Like one of her most popular videos on Instagram, I mean on YouTube, is like her dropping it low to Nicki Minaj.
Mm.
And she does her Beyonce. Like, but
Okay, so you are more
um,
familiar with this queen than I am. It's the word on the street is she's a lip sync assassin.
oh,
Is
she
there any
is,
validity
and
to
like
that?
I want you to go to Denali's Instagram and watch the video they posted yesterday. The bitch not only was slanted on motherfucking skates and that full ass corset, wig, outfit, makeup on that ice, then she fucking did this little kick drop and was not on the ice no more. Like it's sickening. The bitch is sickening. I really only see her to make it. Maybe not even halfway. Like she might. I feel like she might make it for elimination episodes,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
we'll
I don't
see.
think she's. I don't.
She,
I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon. But I got my eye on her.
but then again, this is
Definitely,
a strong
both
cast all the
eyes.
way around. Well, let's
It
get to
is.
somebody
So
who
anything
is
can happen.
chocolate and lovely.
La La
Miss
Ree.
Lala Ree, come in there next. Now, I'm gonna be funny. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think that for an entrance look, I did not think that was a bad entrance look. If you could have
Neither did
one of these girls
I.
come in there in a black leotard, and these girls used to come in these wall marker dresses, mall walker dresses. She looked good. First off, the face is right, and I can tell that the face always gonna be right. She
Down,
blessed with natural bone
down.
structure, so
Yeah.
she already got that stunning ass face. She got the most beautiful complexion. I love the shade that she uses to highlight. She don't do that like stark white highlight. You know what I'm saying? Her middle of her face is very
Mhm.
golden.
Mhm.
Um, that white looked amazing on her skin, and it was glitter and bedazzled. Had a little headpiece. The hair was right. Looked like human hair. Maybe a little low grade, little human hair, a little yaki, a little something. I don't know. I was into it. And at the end of the day, all that fucking matters is she beat her.
Yeah, honestly. And you heard me because I was cheering her on, especially once I peeped. Because I already was not fond of her just based off Meet the Queens. Uh, then the first thing she says is something negative about Lala Reese. I was like, whoop her ass. like, but I agree with you. I did not think the entrance look was bad at all. I think it was simple, it was chic, it was classic. I mean, it was all white with silver accessories. Like, you almost could not go wrong unless like the tailoring is completely off or something like that.
Right.
So I think she
I mean,
looked
and
great.
Denali came in. What did she come in that big puff like Swan Lake thing? Like, I honestly like it. I don't know. Like her outfit didn't blow me away either. I think it's a good entrance look, and she was ready because she had on a look. Her split went smooth, not like some of these other splits. Uh, you know, uh,
Yeah,
did you Kennedy
it was a perfect
Davenport?
split.
Yeah, Kennedy Davenport tweeted after the second lip sync. What did she say? She said that second lip sync is dry.
No, she did. There has been just some discourse online about some of the value of the lip sync, like holistically, all the value of the lip syncs together from that episode.
But after we get
And
through all the girls, let's pin that and go back and talk about that.
okay, so La La Ree wins. They lip sync to "When I Grow Up,"
Do
which
you
is such a
agree?
good like drastic song. Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that
She
was a good
ate.
drag queen song
Denali
because
was just out
sometimes
there.
the songs don't be good.
They don't. I think all the songs this episode were pretty good.
They were
Um,
decent.
yeah, I enjoyed them. I think they were good picks, especially for. I think somebody really sat down and studied these queens and was like, so we putting these two up against each other. This is a great song to put. I think there was some effort, some intention put to the song choice,
Well, that's
which
how
you
it
know I
should be
always
done.
love. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's how
how
it
it
should
should
be
be
done.
done.
Well, apparently on
Um,
All Stars 4, who won? Yeah, on All Stars 4, you know when they did the lip sync battle where it's like the bottom 4 or 5 went against the eliminated
yeah,
four or
yeah, they
five.
came back.
What
Mhm,
they were told to sit, they actually had to learn all the songs. But
mhm.
Naomi saw the boxes when they was coming out, and each box had the same song in it. So the producers do manipulate which song that lip sync. You know what I'm saying? Like the girls may not
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
but it should be engineered this way so that we can get a perform. You know what I'm saying? Like what would you if you got Kennedy Davenport versus, and this is what I was thinking of. This is the problem to me with the our last All Star. Like you invite Kennedy Davenport out to come do a ballad. Like you need to get somebody. She a dance queen. Like give me something. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to
Yeah.
see a performance. But I
So that's
agree with
another.
that one as well.
That's the thing about the song choice on this show is that like sometimes it is engineered for the better, right? It's engineered for like we have two dancing queens. Let's give them a bucking song so they can really give us a good performance, and then they engineer in a way which is unfavorable to one queen, right? Case in point, Detox verse Jinx, where I don't know if you know this like behind the scenes tea, but it's
I
pretty
do.
public. Yeah, it's pretty public at this point, where they switched the song out last minute to a song that Jinx performed all the time, to kind of ensure that she would get in the top three, right? And there are other instances of things like happening on that show. Or at least there's scuttlebutt of other instances happening like that on the show. Um,
Jinx said in
which
her interview with that little cute little boy, what's his name? Joseph with the little mustache. Uh,
I don't know.
uh, she said, just so you know, so it's clear. So it's clear it could have been any song, and Detox would have been sent home, baby.
Of course, you can say that now because she already beat her. She already won. So
I like that energy though. You got your crown,
yeah.
hold your own. Let's move on
Hmm.
to number three. Let's move on to number three. So, Miss, I think Simone and Tamisha was next, right?
Yeah, Simone versus Tamisha, which I hated seeing them go up against each other.
No,
Um,
no, 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 no. I fucking love it because like it is first off, Miss Simone, the Ebony Enchantress,
that's my winner. You
looking
already
like
know.
a well-tempered chocolate bar. Lady Godiva, who like I want to package that. I want to wrap it. I want it to melt in my mouth and my hand. Like this bitch
Agreed.
is the and out of drag. I don't know. We're gonna see what the word got to say, but I'm into the look out of drag as well. I think this is a
Cutie.
beautiful human being
Good
with
in
bones
good in
and
country.
skin. And
My type.
oh, and so, but you know what I love about a good country queen? So
Hmm.
sometimes when we remove, which you can't really remove, but if it's not like some racist shit, Southern people have this little bit like a hospitality and like nice nasty to them that I really
Hmm.
enjoy. Um,
Yeah,
and they could read you down and still respect, you know, you. And then you
which
got Miss
is
Tamisha come in. Go ahead,
what
sis.
backpack just a little bit. When you said they could read you down, but it's like there's like always this like stinge of congeniality there. That is Simone down because this episode she was like throwing little daggers that were
Oh,
like
when
so funny, but like
she
also
said, I
so
love those
timely.
strong shoulders. When she walked out, I love those strong shoulders. And then Tamisha ready to send it right back. She's like, I'm into fashion.
Oh yeah, Tamisha is an elder. She can catch. She no.
I love it.
you
She said, oh, I'm into fashion, baby. I'm into fashion.
you cannot shade her. You cannot shade a queen like Tamisha. She been here too long. She been through too much. Like it.
Right.
I feel like it wouldn't even phase her if you even tried to comfort her. Just like what Simone did her little shot. She said something else in the confession that was really funny. Oh, it was about Tina Burner. And she was like, she's
Them
a
comedy
kooky girl.
camp
She's a
queens, they
comedy
ain't cute in the
girl.
face.
They ain't cute in the face. Funny, and you can tell it's all in good fun. Like she seems really genuine, really authentic, but also still playing to win. Um, so she's my number
Honestly,
one. I'm riding with Simone until the end. She's my favorite.
I feel like Simone is the type of person, the competitor that I like to compete against is
Hmm.
someone who don't have to tear a bitch down to feel they oats. Like Tamisha, Miss
Right.
Tamisha, holler at me, I know you know me. Holler at me, I know you know me.
Hmm.
Okay. Miss Tamisha. She love to spell because she spelled some other shit before too. She like to spell. Um, she let you know I am literate, bitch.
Listen, you about
Okay.
to get educated and you about to get entertained. Two and one.
Okay.
All right.
But
So,
I love that she could just, you read, but it's fun, it's cute. I'm not about to, I'm not gonna call you an ugly bitch if you're not an ugly bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
we go do what we go do, and I love that type of energy as a competitor, and that makes me excited to watch what the growth. Like, I wonder how they go produce the story of the winner
Yeah.
of season 13. Miss.
Right. I'm into it. So Simone versus Tamisha Mon, they lip sync to Pleasure Principle.
Do you agree?
Simone comes out with a win. Do we agree?
I don't.
So this is one of the one. Well, I think there's some contention about some of these other ones too. Um, okay, so explain to me because I agree with it. I think Simone should win, even though Tamisha did a wonderful job as well.
I
Uh,
think, well, one, I just like Tamisha, and I think that she was out there clucking and bucking, and
yeah,
I wanted to see the clucking and bucking. Now Simone gave a performance. She did what she did. She served face. She gave body yada yada. She stumped her foot to the beat. It was cute. Um, you
she had
know,
comedy. She gave a little
she
dance
had
moment.
comedy, and I think both performances were superb. I just would
Hmm.
have like my vote would have been for Tanisha. That's all.
Hmm. I think it was one of the lip syncs. To me, it was one of the better ones of the night. And it was one of the
It was
ones that could have
fire.
went either way. I wouldn't have been upset. Simone is my number one, but that don't mean like if she loses, I'm not one of these stands that like if my queen doesn't do well, I'm not throwing chairs. I'm like cussing people out on Twitter. I feel like it could have went either way, but I'm glad Simone won. I hope Tamisha stays as long as possible because uh, I enjoy her, and I do feel like she has like a lot of like knowledge to bring. Like I think she has value as a queen, of course, but I think she just has like value as a person, period. And I think Tamisha being on the TV will be a good thing for the Drag Race franchise and for everybody else. I think she's
Absolutely.
dope. So next two, Got Milk, Got Mick. Is it Got Mick or
Got it.
Got Mink?
It's
Because people
got
say
Mick.
it. Okay, because I was watching something. They were saying Got Mink. I'm like, is that how you say their name?
No, it's got Mick, and it's
and it's,
intentionally written to look like got milk, but it's got Mick
yeah.
versus Utica Queen.
Okay, so I am not. I don't really go out for the white queens like that. Um, but these are two white queens I can see myself liking a lot. They're very
Yeah,
unique and stylish in two completely different ways. Um, but it's like I like a queen. I like a person, period. But I like a drag queen who is comfortable in their like they know their lane. They are forever refining it, forever defining it, and just solid in themselves and not trying to put on for the cameras, not trying to put on for folk, just being themselves, right? It's a stark difference to me with queens like Got Milk, Unica, Tamisha, Simone versus a Joey J, who seems like she is not really authentic. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. We all got our flavors that we enjoy, but I am a fan of Utica Queen. I want her to last as long as possible, just so I can see these looks. Like, I hope she a queen
I
that's
think
gonna
she
post
will.
all her looks. That's gonna post all her looks, even if she can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Who go post all her looks, even if she doesn't make it. God Mick,
I
we
hope
gotta talk
so.
about this. God Mick is our first that we know of trans man on the
Right.
show.
Our first openly
Um
trans man on the show.
the first openly trans man on the show. I think that is fucking major for for so many reasons,
Hmm.
because one, trans people in general, specifically black trans women, pioneered the art form of drag in the first place, so trans representation needs
Absolutely.
to be all
Let's tell
up
the
and
story.
throughout this motherfucker,
Yes.
from the rooter to the motherfucking tutor.
Hmm.
RuPaul can cross dress because a woman did what she did, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I am into that. I also think
Yeah.
that for someone, you know, I just think about like my experience as a non-binary person, and just like the negotiations that we make so that we can still fit into this new space that we're existing in, and for
Hmm.
them to perform the art of female illusion, or at least that's what people initially see drag as, and be a
Yeah.
trans man, I think is so major. And they've talked about how being comfortable in their transness and their personhood now has allowed them to further explore the character of Gottmik, because it was difficult before to do so. Because I
Hmm.
think I'm certain there's these whack ass motherfuckers out here that use that as a way to discredit their
Yes.
experience as a man, you know?
Yes.
But
So Gottmik said something really simple but really interesting on the show that I think, if elucidated, um, can really speak to the gender fuckery of drag in a good way, right? That's all positive. So she said, um, they said, sorry, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe in Meet the Queens, they use they, them pronouns for themselves.
in in drag,
So
yes.
that's what
I
I'm,
think in drag they are they in drag.
but out of drag, Gottmik is he, him.
I believe so.
Okay. Um, but and they didn't specify. I'm just going based on what I heard. So, and not that they have to. Um, so they said, they were explaining, being a transgender man, what that meant. So female to male. She was like, uh, born, born a born a woman, uh, born a girl, transitions to a guy, dresses up as a girl for money. Um, and I just think that really speaks to how drag intentionally fucks up our Western, ideas of gender and gender performance. So I'm excited for Got Mick and their story to be told on the show, because I think it's really important. What I hate that happened is that, or what I foresee happening, that is leaving a bad taste in my mouth already, is that because RuPaul had so many negative things to say about trans women, trans people doing drag and competing on the show, that got mixed casting was just almost it read as, I'm not transphobic. Here's my trans contestant on the show, um, and I hate that that could potentially be viewed as like a chess move instead of like genuine inclusivity and representation. Um, but either way, I'm glad Got Mick is here and they're sticking. So they
Yeah, it's
listening
one of
to
those
rumors.
moments.
Go ahead.
I just think it's one of those moments where um a lot of things can be true at once. Like for like
Hmm.
we had Homeboy on the cover of Vogue, in non-traditional male clothing. I think that is major to
Who
have,
that white boy?
yeah, that white boy. What's that white boy name from
Okay.
that
From
group?
One Direction.
Yeah, yeah. So they was
Yeah.
dressed up on the front, and they was in clothing that is not stereotypically gendered as male, and it has been done in magazines before, but typically as comedic relief or for just the shock value of the whole man in a dress narrative. And I think this was trying to not really go in that direction, or whatever. But it can also make people salty that the first time we see this on the cover of a major magazine that it's a white person, because we all know that this style, this existence, this whole form is not originated by them, it's not worn best by them either, but we also know who gets fucked up for dressing that way and who gets celebrated, so it's a messy moment.
Definitely. There are definitely desirability implications to the reason why that white boy is celebrated as opposed to, some of the other people we have seen in uh, what we believe to be non male clothing. But at one point or another, I'm sure on this program we're going to talk about desirability in the Drag Race franchise. I have a
Oh
whole
well, we could.
outline of a of an essay that that
Oh good.
is
Well,
going to
yeah.
be hopefully will be published. I don't want to offend nobody, but I think it's worthy of conversation.
All I'm gonna say is you know what? Let's just talk about it for a brief second. To quote Simone, uh, ain't no trade in here. They got out of drag, and Simone was like, "Ain't no trade."
Listen, let's put this out there right now. There has never been anyone who was trade on Drag Race ever. First of
You know,
all, the
first off, if you white,
white people cannot
you
be
not
trade.
black, you eliminated. It's eliminated.
Yes, non-black people cannot be trade. Let's get that out there. They can't be DL either. Trade and DL are very racialized terms that you cannot have. I don't care how frivolous or innocuous it may seem. That's a hill I'm willing to
But
die on because
it's
you
not
can't.
for you.
Those classifications were not for you, and you have not had to reap the negative and unfavorable consequences of those classifications. So no, you can't have them. Right?
Right.
I'm sorry, Cameron Michaels, you're very attractive, but you're not trade.
And
It
also,
just doesn't
why
happen.
also like this
Look.
level of what we like trade being like synonymous with who's the cute one in the room. Tons of them are fucking cute. You just ain't trade. Let's just talk about who hot and who not. Who you not
But
fucking
like,
in
it's
the
cute.
bathroom?
It's not only the ones that are cute, the cute girls in the room. It's who is cute that aligns with
Exactly.
orients of masculinity, right? Who is the most masculine presenting person in the room? Who is the most thin person in the room? Um,
Exactly.
the skin complexion matters too. Like,
Oh,
has
absolutely.
there ever been a dark skinned girl that's been named trade of the season? And I'm using, you can't see me, but I'm using air quotes when I say trade of the season. Like, all of those aspects of desirability matter when they're trying to name a trade of the season. And there has never, and I'm going to reiterate, there has never been, ever been anyone that has been trade that has walked into the drag race workroom ever. It doesn't work that way. And if you were trade, you wouldn't be on drag. So like, and that's another thing of like people using our black queer lingo without knowing the definition. Like,
Yeah, because I
if
think
you were trade, you wouldn't be doing drag. You definitely wouldn't be doing it on TV. Like, words mean
yeah,
things.
because part of being the trade is the nobody knowing that you fucking queer.
Nobody knows. Like that is the original version. The contemporary version is just someone who is like who you can't clock, which is again in air quotes because like femininity does not equate to homosexuality at all, and masculinity does not equal heterosexuality. But that is the very simplistic, you know, kind of contemporary definition of trade in air quotes. But the original version of trade is not that. There's literally someone straight who fucks for money, gifts, shoes, bags. You know, the
Okay.
shit that the city girls is rapping about right now. That's what Trey been doing since forever.
Okay.
So,
Miss
but
Juanita done got
anyway,
her boots knocked around, once or twice,
once, twice, maybe thrice, thrice on
maybe thrice,
Sunday.
sometimes three at a time. If I don't got an
Huh?
afternoon service, you know, it is what it is. Look, I'm going to Tina Burner route. Tina Burner said, "Look, we all gonna be here for weeks on end. We might as well help get each other get off."
If I don't have an afternoon service, it's taking me completely out.
Well, look,
You are silly.
sidebar. You know I have a proclivity for fucking preacher boys, and I grew up a good Christian boy. It's so funny how the tables have turned in my adulthood. But my last two boyfriends, they was both
Oh, I
church
am
boys,
down.
and I love nothing more than to get it in with my boo thing when he had on his little minister's outfit with that little white collar thing around the neck. What's that thing
Listen,
called?
your gasoline draws are custom tailored. All
Oh,
right.
Taylor
I
fit
hope you
very good.
perfect it. I don't know if you watch Girlfriends, but mine was like, I hope you perfect this speech before you meet with the devil. I hope, I hope you perfect this little narrative. I hope you fine tune it before you have a run in with the devil, because it's coming.
Yeah, because he was the pastor type that wore them big long robes and the little necklace and the stole and all of that. Child, I
I
wouldn't
hope
put
he
up
took it
underneath
off.
that. No, I don't take it. Oh,
He
hell
just
no.
crawled
Why would
up
I take it
underneath it.
off? Mm.
How can I stand you? Okay,
Sex is a
back to the
gift from the
show.
Holy Spirit.
I agree. Listen, we're not prudish over here. I grew up in the church as well. Still in it peripherally. Um, but
Oh,
I
child,
love
pray
the
for you.
church queens get a lot of slack, but some of them are real messy, so I don't like those church queens. But the ones that just mind their business and be thick in their slacks or whatever,
Why can't you just like suck my dick in the car and buy me a coffee? Like I'm just like it's just chill. Let's be chill.
it could all be so simple. Ain't that what
Would you
Lauren
rather
said?
make? Well, some of them be having trouble getting it hard because anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that.
Okay, all right, that's another topic for a whole nother program.
Well, if you some it's some stuff. If they stop doing some of that stuff, they could get hard. But anyway, number five.
Lord, take it to the Lord in prayer. So, Gottmik and Unica lip sync to Rumors by Lindsay Lohan, which a lot of people were excited about, including myself, because it was kind of
Oh,
like came out of left field. Like,
hell yeah! I was into it.
I was excited, but this is a lip sync song though. Like, more of these kind of song choices, especially for queens like this. So,
Listen,
just
that song
sifting
is
through some of the
everything and more.
discourse, definitely. Like, this is one of the songs I had to pretend in high school I didn't like, so I wouldn't be clocked as gay. Because it would come on MTV in the morning. I was getting ready for school, and I was like, "Yes, come on,
Come on,
Lindsay."
Gia.
So this is sifting through some of the discourse online. This was one of the lip syncs that was a point of contention. Because some people didn't agree with who won. Some people were saying that it was mediocre at best on both sides. So how do you feel?
Okay, so here we go. I think out of the five sets, was six sets of lip syncs, it was my
Hmm.
least favorite out of the set.
Hmm.
Um, but just because it's my least favorite, like you know what I'm saying, like when we comparing diamonds to, you know what I'm saying, like it's not like I'm talking like comparing a cubic zirconia to a diamond. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still,
Yeah, yeah.
I think every girl on this show, all the queens rather, are 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 jewels. You know, they're all dope. But it was the one that
Hmm.
was the least exciting to me. Although it was my favorite track, it was my least favorite lip sync performance. With that being
Right.
said, I would have picked Utica Queen over Got
Hmm.
Mick. I
Hmm.
also am really judgmental of the splits, the Cuda slams, whatever you want to do, call it. Um, and they
It needs to
split
make
was
sense.
it needs
It
to
needs
make
to make
sense, but
sense.
the
Hmm.
split needs to be like a hot knife through butter, and that split was not. And and that's how I feel about it. I thought Utica Queen went out there and did what Utica Queen did, and I liked it more.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I would pick, even though like Gottmik is, I think she's there in my top four at the moment. But I think Utica Queen just what the difference for me was it was my least favorite one too. But Utica Queen has in performance has some personality to it. You can tell it was quintessential. Like if you put on a song, if you went to go see her in the club, this is probably what you're in for. Um, Got Mick was just really kind of like run of the mill. Again, like the stunts and the splits didn't really make sense. It was just like, let me do this because this is what drag race queens do.
Right.
Um, but yeah, but neither here nor there. Got Mick wins. Utica Queen goes to the pork chop, loading dock, and Got
Yeah,
Mick
pork
joins the
chop,
winner's
low down.
circle. So now our next two queens come in, Rose and Olivia Lux.
Okay, so I have the biggest crush on Olivia Lux, and
Stan.
Olivia, if you ever listen to this podcast, we only in week 1, but we gonna be here for a while. If you ever just want to hang out, go see a show, you know, I'm a classically trained vocalist. You play piano. Maybe we could make us some sweet, sweet music together. Uh,
Honey,
you
pump
know,
and shoot the shot. I'm not mad at it.
I'm
So
about
here's my
that verse
thing.
lifestyle, so I don't know how you get down, but whatever way you get down, I can make it work. And I love you,
Uh-uh.
and I'm rooting for you, boo. I'm rooting.
Here's my
Team
theory about
Olivia Lux.
Olivia. I've seen Olivia as well. Here's my theory about it. So the first time, her face, in and out of drag, is just very inviting, almost like enticing, like in a kind of in like. Well, let me not say that because there's racialized implications to that. But
You being messy? Say it out loud.
no, I was going to say like almost like kind of like in an erotic way, almost like you see her and like you automatically always au- automatically like drawn
Are
to
you
them to this person.
hypersexualizing black people? Are you hypersexualizing black people?
And that's what I don't want to do. And like, is Olivia Lux black or is she of color? Because we're after watching it in my sober state, I was just like, I don't know how this person identifies. Um, it's obvious that this is a person of color. Um, and all the specifics necessary, probably not. Maybe I don't know. Um, but I was just trying to, you know, figure it out. What I didn't want to have my words to be perceived is that I'm automatically sexualizing this queen because they're a person of color. Like I didn't want it to be the erotic, you know, the erotic foreign girl and me sexualizing them for that reason because that's problematic as fuck.
Oh, it is
Um,
problematic and that is legit. But all we motherfuckers saying is Olivia is hot
you
and
fine.
they can draw
All
you
I'm
in with
saying is
that
you
face.
fine.
Period.
She's a life runner
Period.
though. I can tell. Olivia makes people
Olivia
fall in love
Lux
with
is
her. She makes people fall in love with her, and she breaks their hearts. I can tell.
oh my god. They born 1994. We the same age, boo. This is perfect.
Y'all a little younger than I am, but that's okay. Not
They
terribly
Puerto
younger.
Rican and African American, so you know.
Okay, I can see that. Regardless, enough for standing Olivia. Fine, down. I have more standing for her later. Let's get to Rose. So I'm not familiar with Rose, but apparently she's really popular. Um, in New York, you're familiar with her a little bit, right?
Yes. Okay. So from like just a drag queen perspective, I'm a singer. So when people can
Mm-hmm.
sing, I be into it, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
Rose is in Stephanie's Child with season 12 Jan and
Mm-hmm.
Laguna Blue. And
Mm-hmm.
I followed them. They have some really nice tight knit harmonies. They kind of do that like white girl, like acapella style where they try to do them little sassafras runs, but they don't got all the soul in it, you know.
Come on,
Um,
Sassafras.
little sassafras. But it's nice, and I like Rose's drag. I like when people when any queen kind of commits to a certain look, like queens that like always wear red hair, or queens that wear pink a lot, or queens that like I kind of
Does she
like
only
them
wear
commit.
pink?
She wears a lot of it. She doesn't only wear pink, but she wears a lot of it.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
her favorite color, and her name's Rose. So like, I was expecting that Rose is definitely a front runner coming into this competition. Um,
That's what I've gathered.
she's one of the most popular working girls in New York City. People know her, people respect her. And I think some people were surprised when Jan got on the show before her, including her.
Mm. But just because um, you are popular and like you have credits and your resume is long does not mean you're going to do well on the show. I mean, look at Britta. So, like,
Let's not talk about
I'm just saying, like, and again, this is not to be unnecessarily shady, but this is just the facts. Like,
it.
most
Yeah.
Like Britta is a pretty respected drag queen in New York. Like I wasn't familiar with Britta before the season. So when she was saying Queen of New York, Queen, I was like, is she really that girl? So I was hitting my girls up in New York, and they was like, yeah, she's dope. She's everywhere. She's really respected. She's really talented. But that did
Entertainer
not
of the year,
translate.
be booked overseas all the time. But
Yes,
like,
but that did not
I
translate
think
to the show, which
any
does not. The
competition,
Drag Race is not the end all be all of your drag talent, your talent as an artist. It's not. We've talked
period.
about this. Like not the show's format, and for good reasons, both like politically and just and like socially and just like structurally, it doesn't fit every queen's style. Just because you don't do well in Drag Race doesn't mean you're not a great queen.
Absolutely.
That's not shade to Britta. It's just saying just because you pop in and people know you and you might be primed to win or be the top queen doesn't mean that it's going to happen that way.
Yeah, and that goes for any competition television show. It is sometimes hard to curate what you do and make it read well on a television show. And also, you have to realize that the television show has a preset agenda, and that is to make television. So,
Right.
there is
So it's not
always that
necessarily who's the
element.
most talented.
Yeah, and then there's just
The
some limitations. For example, like you have a skating queen like Denali, you got a skating queen like Milk.
hmm
There's no ice skating rink. They haven't brought an ice skating rink into Drag Race, and Milk's been on the show twice. And you would have think they would have figured out how to put an ice skating rink in there so that they could show their, you know what I'm saying, their talent. They haven't been able to do that.
hmm
So
Yeah,
it
agreed.
really depends. But let's trek along here. Trek along here. Rose,
Okay, so they lip sync to X's and O's.
right? I like this
And let me
song.
just I like this song as well. I like it. I like the song, just as a song, but I really like it like as a drag performance song, because you can do this. You can do a lot with it. So let me just say this: more Olivia Standing. People shade her because she's young and she's only been doing drag for a little minute. But for me, holistically, she came the most prepared. She looked great. She had her gown, but that was also like if she was ready to perform, she could do it. She slid it off real nicely, real elegant. She had all the great. She had all the perfect ass elements to a great lip sync performance. I think she had
Agree.
passion. She had musicality. She was funny. She worked the stage. She looked great. She didn't do too much, but she did just enough to like put a bow on her performance. Like people shade her because she's young, and especially like young in terms of like being a drag queen. But her and Candy, it's a tie between who came the most prepared because they ate.
Well, look, I thought the outfit that Olivia Lux walked into she's one of my favorite entrance looks. I love Velvet. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it is I love Velvet. I think it's classy and trashy. I am a fan of it. But I was
It's
worried when
burst.
this
It's
twist
very
came
burst.
in about her being in this gown. But she was prepared. That gown came off, baby. Came
Slid
off.
right off.
And she didn't struggle with it too
Ready.
much. She not struggle with it.
Mm-hmm.
She got that motherfucking dress off, and she got to stumping her feet and doing her thing. I also like how she pads. She reminds me of those. I just really like her, like she was kind of hippie. She cute. I like her little
Mm-hmm.
how she pad, or whatever. Now Rose was talking, big mess, big shit.
Big
Like
shit.
I would too. In my confessional, I'm the shit. I was the one who was hosting the pageant that she was just, competing in, blah blah blah. I thought Rose did a good job when she did them Shanae turns down the middle like a little tornado girl, like she spin around like a
Beautiful.
tornado girl.
They were
That was hot.
beautiful.
That was beautiful. I loved her whole looking like troll doll and pink with that big teeth hair. Um, I was into it. I just think Olivia edged her out a bit.
All right, and to me at every aspect, and like you said, Mick, no, Mick, this is wrong queen. Rose did a good job, but Olivia just kind of like Olivia's hungry. Like, so this is the kind of people I like. Period. Like people that are humble, um, like just grateful to have opportunities, grateful to be there. But when it's time to put on, bitch, they put on. And like I enjoy Olivia. She's one of my favorites. I liked her from Meet the Queens already. Um, but then like seeing the look and the way she performs, like she was really feeling it. It's almost like I also like when Queens on the show, like they just lip sync because you can look at them and tell this is what they love to do. Uh, so they're not so caught up in like the competition or like trying to shade the other contestant. It is this is my stage, this is my song. Now I'm about to perform just like I would perform at any other night and give it my all. And that's what she gave to me. So I enjoy Olivia. I hope she does great. Um, Again, there's some quiet ones you gotta watch because she's really humble and doesn't seem like she's like cutthroat. But when it comes to competition, like she is ready. And them the ones that sneak up on you.
Absolutely. Speaking of sneaking up on you, somebody I wouldn't want to run up on in the alley is Miss Tina Burner. Number 6. Next one in, you got you got Miss Tina Burner. Now, how do you feel about these drag names that's a play on drug usage?
Throws me off just a taste. And again, I'm not a prude. Um, it is different. Who was the one drag queen that had to play on the name about crack?
Crystal Method.
Yes, and as a queen and like, I was gonna say as a person, we don't know her, but from what she put on the show, she seemed like a very nice, nice person. Um, but those have really kind of almost like dire and violent, racial implications, racial and gender implications that you kind of have to be careful of. Um, Tina Burner is like, it's something that, especially like, so when we talk about drugs like those hard drugs, it always reminds me of Jamel Moore, and like, and I know that's not her problem, but like I almost can't get past it. Like this is a drug that has pervaded the community in like some of the worst ways, and it has almost exposed the I don't want to say power in it, but it exposed like a lot of the empiric nature of whiteness uh, on black folks with drugs like Tina and crack and stuff like that. So for that to just be a play on words is like a little insensitive to me. Um, but if that's a part of her experience, like I say, if she was like, and I don't know much about Tina Burner, but like say you were recovering from that addiction and you decided to name your drag persona, to speak to that, then that's something completely different. Um, yeah, it just you know, it just kind of
Yeah.
rubs me the wrong way a little bit.
I think we could. I think throughout the season we'll see how they progress with it, or whatever. I would love if it's somehow brought into confessional storylines and things.
Hmm.
So have you because that goes more into my opinion about the way that the franchise is set up and how so much responsibility is put on the backs of these queens and how much they are um pledged and seen as these immediately like these social justice warriors and advocates that happen to be on it when they didn't label themselves as that, but the show does not have the same responsibility. um
Right.
so that's kind of how I feel about it. I feel like the show
Hmm.
has a greater responsibility. It is a white supremacist power force,
Hmm.
and they should really be more held responsible for
Agreed.
some of that. Who else
Agreed.
came in?
Which is
Who came in?
Kimura Ha. Child.
Okay, we go. So I don't want to talk too much about Kimura because Kimura's gonna be. I'm gonna talk about Miss Thang Thang later, but all I will say is that she is very pretty.
Very
Um,
stunning.
Gowns. She has lovely gowns. Bob
Beautiful
Mackie
gowns.
gowns. Lovely Bob Mackie gowns that have been resized to be smaller because she is what sample size, honey.
Come on, coin.
Come on, Quint. And she's from the Halls, Miss Taj Mahal, who got tons and tons of drag babies. Um,
Hmm.
one of the most recent is Miss Jada Essence Hall. Dita Ritz is one of her daughters.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, that's a sickening house.
yeah. So I mean, Soju's in there too, but whatever.
Yeah.
And and we gotta have space for our sisters too. For our sisters, she like to get
I'm
it
sorry.
popping, if you know what I mean.
Oh, sister. Sister.
um,
Girl. Okay,
and
so
then
let me say this about Kimura Hall. And I'm trying to get down out of respect for our for our reigning queen, Jada Essence Hall. Um, so just because a white woman is rich and privileged Doesn't mean she's
Girl,
sickening.
you done took my call out. I can't stand you.
Sorry. Doesn't mean she's sickening. Doesn't mean she's elegant. Doesn't mean she's poised. Um, doesn't mean she has old money. Doesn't mean she's from aristocracy. Doesn't mean any of that. It literally just means
But
she
she
was
was living
born
her rich
white and
white
into
woman
wealth.
fantasy.
And that is so very problematic. Like, okay, let's put a pin in it and let's because we already been on here for a minute. We already planned for a 30-minute show. So let's put a pin in it and we'll get back to Kimura Hall in our call in and call out session. So
Right.
Elliot with two T's.
Oh,
So this
okay.
is
So
like the
Elliot
three
with her two
problematic queens
T's.
that get too called.
You said she problematic.
They put the three problematic queens in the room together.
Okay, so
Elliot with two
I
T's is
don't
not as problematic as the other two.
I don't know what's problematic about Elliot. I'm sure you will tell me, but like initially, I'm kind of into Elliot with two T's because one, they got a big ass nose, and I am so into my big nose family out here,
Uh,
and
uh,
um and Elliot in the interview with Monet Exchange said something that I thought was important. And it was,
uh-huh.
they said that it's important for us to let our black and POC sisters know that we are here with them and that they don't have to and should not be bearing the burden of dealing with the racist fandom on their own, and that she just straight up called herself white. I love when white people call themselves white because they seem to have an issue calling themselves whatever
Yeah,
they
I
are.
think it's a slur.
Um, um, and she was like, we are white, and it's our job to listen to our black and brown queens and pretty much do what they tell us to do. I love a white person that's like, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, and I don't want to celebrate a fish for swimming, but
Me either. I'm just saying though. At least they said it out loud. Like people don't be
yeah, agreed.
the girl. The girls don't be saying it out loud. At least they said it out loud.
And it's easier to do that when you're sitting front, when you're on a show, when you're on a black girl show. Like, would you have that same energy if you were being interviewed by Trixie? I don't know, but we're not here to think in
I don't
we're not
know.
here to think in abstracts and what if. Um, the thing that got me about Elliot with two T's was the black scent.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
sorry, like, again, I don't want to be like, because I know the criticism is, oh, you too nitpicky and blah blah blah, like everyone says. But like the whole like, get into it, ooh, choose, drop, spin. Like it just seems it comes across really inauthentic, and it just begs the question, like, who are you really? Like,
I
if you
am
were not
yes
trying to
God, honey. I
yeah.
am yes God.
If you are not trying to play on a caricature of black women, who are you? Like, what kind of artist are you, really?
Are you
And I
still
hope he
fine? Do-
come on, Tony Morrison. Do you still like
yeah.
yourself? Like, who are you for
Do you?
real? Are you still kind? Are you still smart? Like, for real, who are you? And that's what I'm interested about Elliot with two T's. Like, I'm not completely writing her off. Like, everyone is problematic in their own way. Um, and maybe she's never been told she has a black scent. Like, uh, maybe that's never been brought to her attention. But I'm interested to see like what kind of because I enjoyed her outfit. I enjoyed her performance as well. Um, like I enjoyed the hair choice with the outfit. Like I feel like this is an artist who I could see it for, but I just can't get past the black set. I'm sorry, and it's like
Who
you said,
won
it's not
that?
like a Laganja, but
Right.
it's there.
So we have to. What we're gonna do is we need to decide. Do we agree with who won that lip sync?
I do, and I think they all did well. Kimura surprised me,
Yeah.
but she did well.
Ka Mora
Whatever. Let me
surprised
not.
me.
That's her name, Kimura.
Yes, that's
Um,
her name. But
That's her name. Let me not do that.
I
But
thought
no,
Elliot
my
was gonna
eyes
do.
always went to Tina. Yeah, you said she was a dancing queen. So I thought she was going. I mean, Lady Marmalade is a song that you can actually turn, especially if you know how
Yeah.
to dance. But
So I
Tina
would
Burner
feel like,
turned it, and she didn't do no split, no dip, no nothing. So
yeah, I don't know, baby. I don't know what that, but I do agree as well. I agree with Miss Burnter, and I agree. So I like to hear your actually, you know what? I feel like the Ooh Baby Honey Child. What we gonna do? This is what we're gonna do. Um, I think we should share our predictions, or like tell me your top four, Avery. Who would be your top four?
okay, this is difficult because it is a talented group. I'm like, it's difficult for me because I was not. privy. I was not familiar with any of these queens except for Candy Muse a little bit. I saw her on YouTube with the case with Asha. Um, so I wasn't familiar with any of them prior to Meet the Queens. So based solely off of Meet the Queens and this first episode, I'm riding with Simone. Um, that is my number one. Okay, so Simone, Olivia, Candy, and then that last spot that's kind of a switch out with Gottmik and Tina Burner.
Okay.
And I will say, while that's my top four, I do think Rose is going to be a contender. She might slide into that top four as well, and Unica Queen might also slide into that top four as well. Um, Again, it's almost like season 12, but there's so much talent. It could go any which way. Um, so that's kind of like my top four, top five, whatever you want to call it. But that's also just let me just say that I really enjoy Lala Ree. I really enjoy Tamisha Iman.
Same.
I hope they do well and they stay as long as possible, and that their post Drag Race careers are fulfilling and lucrative and everything that they've ever dreamed of. I think they're really dope queens. Um, when we talk about the format and the structure of the show, again, that does not work for every queen, especially if you're black and especially if you're dark skinned. Um, so that's why they're not in my top four, but I think they're sickening performers,
Same.
sickening queens. And for, at least from what we've seen so far, seem to be nice, genuine people, which is what I really, look for.
All right, girl. You
So
can
those are
stop
my
with your
top four.
pageant answer. Your pageant
I'm
answer. Say
sorry.
your top four is your top four. You say who
That
you
was my
saying?
top four. That was my top four.
Okay, my top four is the Ebony Enchantress, uh the Simone,
Yes.
Candy Muse,
Yes,
Olivia
yes.
Lux, Will You Marry Me? And Rose and Rose. I have Rose in there. I feel like Rose
Okay.
would if depending now that they are prepared to do a digital finale, like that it's not a surprise. I feel like Rose will put on a hot show. Um,
Yeah. I think Simone will too, though.
yeah. So we will see. Um, I'd like to thank all of our listeners. We had 6 listeners this time, and tons of people that shared. I think that is dope as
Yeah.
fuck.
I saw some shares and some thumbs up, so that was
And
dope.
and that's with no promo. So I'd like to thank the current people that we
Last
already have
minute
that are
album.
listening today. I greatly appreciate you all, and I would like to thank you all for tuning into Drag from the Left, season 1, episode 1.